हीरो मेरी टीम से हो।
Hey, hello guys. So let's wait for a couple of minutes for others to join. First of all, am I audible? Can anyone confirm in the chat? Okay. That's great. Just a minute and let's begin. 22 members have joined now, and I think we can start very soon. I think I opened the wrong slide. Yeah, this one is. Okay, all right. So this workshop is going to be conducted for next 30 days, and this will be the first week, and I'll be letting you know what are the tasks that you have to do for the upcoming 5 days. I'll be sharing that by the end of this particular session. So in this workshop, I'm mainly planning to teach you, like, if you go to a job, what are all the work that you will be actually working on. So you will be also be provided what are the interview questions, but as what I feel is uh, working is more important than joining in a company. So you can, if you know the theoretically, if you know everything, I'm sure most of you will be able to crack the interview. But if you think about it, working on something like AWS is going to be more challenging than getting selected for an interview on a job. So on that note, I'd like to start this session. So we'll see what are the objectives for this boot camp. So my main objective is by the end of this workshop, you will be able to host a website API in AWS. So we'll see what are all the services that are being that will be used for achieving these. So if what I'm going to consider is you are all absolute beginners for AWS. So even if you have some knowledge in AWS, just think that um, you're going to be learning it from scratch. So that will be helpful. Even if you have learned something wrong, it will be helpful, like to learn it in a proper way. So to tell about me, I'm actually 5 years experienced in AWS. I have worked on many services. So I'm just trying to let you know that what are all that I learned. I'm just trying to share my knowledge about it. And the second motive is I'll help you set up NoSQL database and a SQL database. So we will also be understanding what are SQL database and what are NoSQL database, when to use what, and all those things you will be able to learn from this workshop. And the third one is the most important thing. So the above two things most of the people will be covering. So third thing is what actually we will be using in day-to-day work during our job. So the above two things we will be using, but if you are a developer and if you are trying to interact with AWS services, there's no major resources like how to interact using Python, the AWS Lambda, EC2, all those things. They won't be teaching in many of the workshops or bootcamps. So that is what I saw in various bootcamp objectives. So I think this is the most important thing that you will be learning. So you can see that I have said that it is using Python. So I'll be covering a very little basics. So if you are by any chance, if you had a chance to follow my YouTube channel, I'll be always telling that the language doesn't matter. So if you learn something in one particular language, it will be always be easy for you to switch to another language. Just the syntax is going to be different. So on that note, let's see how I'm asking you to conceive this particular session. So what I would suggest is, this is a quick tips from me. So don't try to remember whatever that I teach you. So that is a very important thing. So if you see during my college days, what I will usually do is I'll try to remember each and everything. So let's say like I'm trying to learn Java. So what I would do is I learn like 4 or 5 hours tutorial will be there in YouTube. So what I will think is, if I learn the every concepts in Java, I think I thought that I'll be knowing everything on Java, but that doesn't work. So usually what will happen is I'll complete the entire 5 hours tutorial, and by the end of it, I'll think back and I'll see that whatever that I watched earlier, I would have forgot it. If you think after 1 week, then it is much more worse. I'll remember literally nothing. So that is a common scenario. I'm sure if you are a student, I'm sure that many of you would have faced a similar situation. So that is what I try to share here. So don't try to remember everything. So instead, what I will try to do, what I will recommend you to do is, if you keep practicing, eventually you'll remember. So let us not talk about AWS for now. In general, if you are learning something like a Python, don't try to remember each and everything that is involved in the code. Just imagine something like that. Like if you are planning to go to Ladakh, okay, from Chennai to Ladakh, if you're planning to go, you will not be looking into what are all the path that you go. Like you will be in a scenario like you have to go cross a bridge. You will be scenario where you have to go through some off-roading. All those places you have to go. So all those bridges, all those things are like tools that you are being using in middle. So similar, you have to consider these things like a similar thing. So if we are learning any new libraries or something like that, it is a tool. So you have to know how to use the tool, and you don't have to worry like how is this bridge built. So if you are going to travel from Chennai to Ladakh, and if you are seeing anything in any bridges in the middle, you are not going to think how this bridge is going to build, how this bridge was built. You will be thinking how to use this bridge. So there is something similar to this. So whenever you learn something new, you just have to think how to use it, and eventually if you keep repeating the projects, you'll be able to remember it. So even the same thing goes with the syntax of any programming language. If you try to remember the syntax, eventually you're going to forget it. So that is a very common thing. So think in another way. You can, if you think about doing more task, then eventually you're going to remember it. So, and the third important thing is you just have to remember this very focusedly. This is the most important thing. You have to learn to have fun whatever the things that you're learning. Even if you're learning something like a Python language, if your purpose is only for learning it, then try to do projects that is going to excite you. So if you take Python, you can learn something like a package called as PyGames. So you'll also be learning how to create a game, and also you'll be eventually on a side you'll be learning the Python language also. So that is a suggestion that I give. So with that note, let's begin with before learning what is AWS, and let's see what is a cloud first of all. So whenever you see this, right? So whenever I hear the word cloud initially before learning AWS, whenever they heard we heard the word cloud, this is the first thing that we remember. Like it's literally a cloud. So if you also remember like the literal cloud, then you're not alone. So the reason for naming it as cloud is, I'll just keep it very simple. Imagine you have a computer. Instead of if it is in a home, and if it is an internet, and you are going to access your computer from the internet, it is called as cloud. So it is just as simple as that. It is just a metaphor. So don't try to complicate it just with the word of cloud. So if you see at the right side, there are list of major cloud providers. You can see Microsoft Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud. And if you think about the major use of the cloud providers, AWS is almost used by 75% of the cloud. So that's the reason I learned AWS specifically, and I recommend you also to learn AWS. So same features also will be available in Google Cloud, Amazon Azure, but in a different services. So so this session is going to be completely about AWS, and we'll just focus only on AWS. So I think till now I am clear, and let me get some confirmation, like till now everything is fine. If you have any doubts, you can let me know as of now. Okay, thank you, Divya. And let's continue with the next slide. So in this bootcamp, these are the following services that are going to be covered. I don't want you to look into it now. So don't look at it. Whenever we work on one projects, we'll learn this. So just on a higher note, I just want to show you this, but don't confuse or just don't get overwhelmed by seeing all these services. So let's move to the next slide. This is the most important thing that I keep stressing out to everyone, to each and every student that I see. So if you are learning any new technology, it should be a relief and it should not be a burden. So what I mean by that, so you have to feel the problem that the particular technology is solving. So that's the reason why I always say is, if you are learning any new technology, make sure what problem it solves. You have to feel the problem. You have to suffer what the problem is causing you, and then only then learn the particular technology. Only then you will feel the relief that it provides. So that is the thought process that I had before thought of teaching you this AWS. So for understanding this, I'm going to show you all a very relatable use case. So let us travel back, like let us assume that this is 2002. So now we don't have any cloud services. There is no AWS, there is no Azure, there is no Google cloud providers, nothing. So we are going to plan to start a company similar to Netflix. I'm sure many of you know what is Netflix. So Netflix is a company that allows you to watch movies, and I think I have a question now. Giri Haran has asked why I have to learn cloud, sir. Okay, so these questions I'll club up and I'll answer at the end of the session. So what are the doubts that you have, just put it in the comment section. By the end of the session, I'll look into each and every questions, and we'll try to answer it. Okay, so I think that should be fine. So whatever doubts that you have, just put it down in the chat. By the end of the session, I'll try to answer one by one. So one more thing, I'm not too worried. If I don't know something, I'll just be too open. I'll say that I don't know. I'll learn, and then I'll come back. That's one important thing. See, usually I'll be recording every session. So if I fumble here and there, if I say something that is wrong, I can always edit out and put it. So if it is since it is a live, I can strongly say that if I feel that if I say something wrong, I can always take back my words. I don't have any problem in that. I always want people to get the right information. So that is always the policy that I try to follow. And let's see what are all the questions that you have. If I'm able to answer it, I will answer it. If I don't know, I'll learn it, and then I'll let you know. And with that note, let's continue with this use case. So we are in 2002, and we are planning to start a company similar to Netflix. Netflix is a company that will be allowing us to watch movies, series, and whatnot. So the main thing that is reliable for Netflix is it needs a very big server. So all those things we'll see how we are going to handle. So first of all, to start a company similar to Netflix, so what are all basic things that we need? If you think about it, we need a office, we need persons to work, we need an office, we also need a data center, right? If you think about what is a data center, so if you see here, there are many boxes here, right? Imagine these are all kind of a CPU. Okay, so since we are now a startup, just imagine we are hiring 10 people. A few of them are developers, few of them are testers, few of them manage database, few of them are managing, and then some will be responsible for maintaining the platform, and some will be working on the data center. So if you think about this, data center is something like there will be a separate place for it, where people will be it is something like it is literally a CPU, and whenever there is more traffic, they will be adding more space, and then if there is no enough required traffic, they will be removing the space that is required for running our application. So it is literally that, and don't try to overcomplicate it. If you don't understand it, I can always help you back. And so just put it out in the comment section, and when I complete this overall session, I'll repeat it back. So data center is a place where it will help us to make our application go live. Okay, so if it is having more traffic, they'll be adding more and more RAM or whatever that is required to keep our application live. And if there is no enough traffic, number of people using are very less, then we'll be removing it. So that is literally a data center. So imagine we started to grow, okay, and more number of people are starting to use it, and our application is slowing down, and it crashes sometimes, and we are starting to lose customers. So this is the pain point I'm asking you to feel. So if there is no AWS, you are thinking about this, you are having a company, the company was doing very good, you were making so much of profit, but also that brings so many peoples, our application is starting to slow down. The data centers keep on adding so much of space, but even then it is not sufficient. that is a very big headache for us. I think you can feel this pain that is causing, and we are also losing customers. That is a very bad thing. So on a side note, the image that you are seeing here, this is image from a series called as Silicon Valley. So I recommend, if you are someone like who's interested in series, I'll recommend you to watch this series called as Silicon Valley. So this is exact scenario which happens to them, and since it is taking their CPU was taking so much of load, the entire data center would have been caught fire. So these are all real-time things which had happened in previous generations, not previous generation, like 10 or 15 years back. So if you are someone who's fond of series, and if you are searching to watch a nice series, I would recommend you to watch this Silicon Valley series. Not only that, it is so much of fun in watching it. The characters which it has is had so much of funny characters. You'll also get to know the company side and how a startup works. All those many insights in the IT industry, you will be able to learn it. So I'll definitely recommend you to watch this particular series. So with that note, I'll go to the next slide. So we are starting to lose many customers, and this is a major headache for us. And in 2006, a game changing cloud services has come, and it is called AWS. So what they are saying is, you don't worry about the downtime, how many customers are using. You don't worry about anything. Just focus on your business logic. We will be taking care of how many people are there, whether we need to scale up or scale down. All those things we will take care. So that is a major relief that AWS is providing. So think about it. When they tell like we'll be taking care of the downtime, and we'll be taking care, if more people are coming, we'll be scaling up. If less people are coming, we'll be scaling down. That is almost like they took off of our problems. So since they are providing this service, we are going to eliminate the entire data center space itself. See, if it's a data center, we'll be need a separate space, a room itself for a particular thing. So we are going to remove that. We are going to recruit more people. Even in that space, we are going to recruit more people, and our business is going to grow and grow. There is no failure only because of our data center. Okay, so our data center is sorted out. Our application is always going to be live. So that is what AWS is promising. Okay, so I think this is clear. I think people are able to understand why AWS was found in first place. Am I right? Is it understandable? Ha, yeah, professional groups has replied that it is similar to university results time. Yeah, it also happens like whenever you try to get a result, university results, since so many people are using at the same time, our application will not be able to scale up. So if they had used AWS, I'm sure many people would have used AWS, but they would need to configure some places for it to scale up automatically. So in our example, we'll be seeing that in later session. So if it has to automatically scale up, what are all the things that we have to do? So we'll see what are all the things that we do to take care on that note. So for now, I just want to get some confirmation whether you understood why we are using why AWS came into the picture for solving this particular problem. So did you understand what was the problem and what solution they provided? I just need some confirmation to proceed further. Okay, there is no response. I assume that it is clear. Okay, one of them I replied already that it is clear. Okay, it is clear. Okay, I did not see that. Okay. So the service that I was talking till now, I told that AWS came out with this service which will allow us to keep our machine in their data center, and we can use our internet to access that particular computer. So just imagine our computer will be inside AWS data center. We'll be using internet to access our computer. Okay, and that's literally what it will be happening. So that the service that they offered is called as Amazon EC2. Okay, on further session we'll be looking into what this particular EC2 does, how to configure it, all those things I'll be teaching you in a later sessions. So just think like this. So since we are already moved to AWS, we'll be having a mindset that why not use other services that they are providing. So that is a simple thing that is happening each and every company. So they'll move to AWS for this particular problem, and once since they are switched to AWS, why not use other services that they are providing? So that is basic things that happens every time a company migrates to AWS. So this is the slide that I have for today. I think it should be clear for you all, and let's see if we have any other questions. If not, I'll just go to AWS and I'll share with you how to create an AWS account. I'm not going to create an AWS account. I'm just going to show you how to create one. Just go to Google and just search AWS account. Create AWS account. Okay. So if you go to this particular site, here you can see a console where you can create an account. So if you do not find anything like a create an account, just click on sign into console. And sign in as you. Okay, if you see here, create a new AWS account, click here. I'm not going to I'm not going to create a new account. I already have one. I already have a video about how to create an AWS account. I'll put a link in the description for you to look into it. So I'll just give a high note. You can just give your email ID. This is not my email ID. This is one of the temporary email IDs that I create. I'll share you my email ID if you need, and you just have to create just click verify email address. Once you do that, you'll be showing some prompt what are all the things that you have to do. At one point it will ask you to enter your card details. Just don't panic. See, AWS does not charge you until you pay it by yourself. Okay, you just have to be clear on it. AWS does not charge you until you decide to pay. Even if you did not pay, they won't auto charge you. So first thing is they'll ask you for enter credit card details. Previously it was allowing debit cards. I'm not sure whether it is allowing it now. Just make sure that international transaction is allowed, it is enabled in your bank account. If you did that, then you will be able to make the payment. So the first payment, it will be charging only 2 rupees, literally 2 rupees. It is not like 2000 rupees or something like that. It will literally charge only 2 rupees, and even that 2 rupees will be refunded to you in 2 business days. Okay, so that is to make sure that you are a genuine people and you are not trying to play around there. So they just want to confirm that, and also they want to make sure that the payment details that you are entered is having the capability to pay to them. So that is a confirmation that they will do, and once that is done, immediately your AWS account will be ready to use. So once you are done that, you can start using AWS. So I think as of now everything is clear. I'll quickly sign in. Just a minute. I'll do this. I'm in on my one more screen, so you will not be able to see that. Okay, so once you sign in, your site will look something like this. So this is how AWS console will look like. You will not be able to see this. So these are all the services that I recently used. So it is showing up for me. So one major thing that I want to cover. So if you want to feel that, if you want to make sure that you don't want to get any kind of bill, so this is the first thing that you have to do. So what I would say is, go to this particular session. It is called as billing and cost management. Go to this, and then what I would say is, go search for budgets. If you see here, there is something called as budgets. Click on it. I already have a budget, so if it has exceeded and it has and I got billed for it, I'll come to that part later. So first thing what I would ask you to do is, you will not be having anything like this. Go to create budget. There is also already a simple template that they are having. I just want you to look at this. There is something called as zero spend budget. Click on it. Give some name. If it is default name, just leave it. Here I want you to enter your email ID. Okay, just enter your email ID. Click on create budget. So what this does? So this, what it will do is, it will allow you to get an email notification if you get even 0.01 cents billing. Okay, once you get that email, just immediately come to this particular console and see for what services this you are incur this charge. Okay, so how to check that? So I'll go here. So this is called as bills, and let's select a time period. So last month I got almost like a $3. Okay, so for the reason for that is, I use some services on that. So if you see here, VPC has been used, and it has charged $2.7. So once you notice that, you can go to VPC, you can stop that VPC, and you'll not be charged further. So on a worst case, just imagine you don't know how to use, and you forgot to close some services or not. Then what will happen? Will you do you need to pay for it? So the simple answer is no. So what you can do is, there are two options for you. You can raise a ticket. So how to raise a ticket is, there will be a place for you to raise a ticket. Yeah, service quota. If you go here, I think it's not, this is not, let's confirm. Wait, I think yes. Yeah, I think you can create a ticket here. Let me confirm. No, yeah, support center. Yeah, I forgot. So if you go to the support center, you can raise a ticket like you did this all these for learning purposes, and please not charge for charges since you don't know how to use AWS. So most of the cases, they'll be waiving off your bill amount. So after that, you have to be careful. That is one thing. So if they refuse that, they cannot waive off your bill amount, you can just ask them to terminate this account. So that is what they will also recommend you. If you are not going to pay this bill, just terminate this account. You can go ahead and close this account. So there are cases where people have got bill amount like in lakhs, literally lakhs. I have made a video on that also. So in those cases, I'm sure most of the people will not be able to pay that much of huge amount for literally nothing, right? So if you raise ticket for those things, what AWS people, the support center will do is, they'll make sure that whether you have not made money using that the time of the utilization of the service. Suppose example, if you are creating a EC2 service, okay, I understand that you don't know what is a EC2. We'll come out. I think we'll speak about that later. So in AWS, if you are using a particular service and you are using and if they found out that that particular service is used by any customer or not, if it is being used, they'll not waive off your amount. So they'll be under an impression that you are trying to you try to make money out of it. So they'll feel that you need to pay bill. Suppose if they feel that you do not make any money out of it, how do they found it? All those things I'll be teaching you when we work on a specific services. So as of now, they'll make sure that you do not make money out of it. If you do not make money out of it, they'll go ahead and waive off your amount. So that is thing that I try to tell in this part. So if you can go here, you can go create a case. So what are all the services that you use, you can just create, and then finally you can, if once you raise a ticket, they'll look into your account, and they will waive off. If they do not waive off, you can go ahead and terminate this account. So I think I am clear of now. If you have any other questions, you can ask. Okay, I'll go ahead and I'll go to the next service. This is the only service that we are going to learn for today. So there is a very important service. This service is called as IAM. So imagine you have a, let us consider our Netflix company itself. You have almost like 10 employees, and you cannot give the entire AWS access to all the 10 members. They can go ahead and create whatever they want, correct? You need to give some restrictions to them. So that is what we are going to do now. So once you come to this IAM dashboard, you can go to users, you can create a new user. So example, I'll create a user for my name itself. I'll create it for Ranjit, and it asks you whether you need to give user access for AWS console also. So the thing here is, if you create a user, it will think that it is we are trying to create an user for programmatical access alone. So that is not the case. We need to create a user for programmatical access as well as the console access. So when we logged in, right? So something similar to that. So just click on it, and I want to create an IAM user. You can auto generate the password, or if you want to create a new password, you can just create here. I'll just keep auto generate password, and then whether the user must be creating a new password when they sign in, I recommend you to checkbox this, and then click on next. And here comes the important thing. So what are all the permissions that we are going to give? Okay, so here what I will do is I'll attach one permission. Okay, so for this particular session, I'm going to keep it simpler. Okay, so I want to create a user that has every access, literally every access, whatever that AWS is providing. I want to give them every access. So this access will be provided for someone who is in a very high level in your management. So I'll click on this administrative access. So it will be having every access in the AWS, and I'll click on next. So these are all the things that we gave, and I'm going to create user. So these are all the password that it has given. So I'm going to open my incognito mode. So let's copy this URL. Click on the username, click on the password. So once you sign in, it is asking you to enter a new password. So I'll just keep it in a simple note. I'm going to delete this user in a very short while. Just show you the process for creating this. So once you did this, you will be signed in a separate account. If you see here, the username and then the account ID. Our previous console was not like this. If you see here, we were logged in as a root user. So when you create an account, you'll be logged in something, correct? So that part is called as a root user. So don't consider, I recommend don't use that account every time. Okay, just create a IAM user, give administrative access to that, and only then use your account. Okay, so in this part it is a root user, and this is a IAM user. So this also has every access. If you this is one of the service called as EC2. We'll be coming to that service shortly. Okay. Yeah, so this is one of the service, and we'll be coming to the service shortly. And if you see here, I'm having access to this particular service. So since we are an admin user, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create, first let me sign out of this. I'm going to create another user. Okay, and this one, it has to have access only for EC2 and no other services. All right, I think you understood. So there will be a scenario where you hire a developer in our Netflix company, we are recruiting a new developer, and his role is to make sure that our application is live. That's it. So for that, he needs EC2 and few other services also. For initially, we are going to give him only EC2 access. So we don't want to we don't want him to have access for some other services, so that we don't get accidental billing or something like that. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a user, one more user. So this is also under IAM and users. Here I'll be giving a new role. So example, a new user. So example, I'll name him as Madras Programmer. Same things I'll follow. Everything will be the same. Custom password. Okay, I'll just give the auto generated password, and then everything is going to be the same. And here you need to attach a policy. So right. So previously we added this administrator access. So for this one, I gave the access for the entire application, right? So we don't want to do that. So for doing that, I'm going to add EC2 full access. So let's see if there's yeah. So Amazon EC2 full access. So there is a policy for generating that. So I'm going to use that. So I'll go to click on next and then create user. So let's see what is happening if I try to sign in using this particular user. So the steps are similar. I'm going to enter the old password, then I'm going to give a new password. I entered it wrong. I'll try again. Yep. So I have entered the password now, and I am also logged in now. So if you see here, there is no recently used services here. So one thing we have to confirm here, I should be having access only for EC2 and no other services, right? This is what we saw now. So I'm going to open RDS. You can also search RDS here. If you don't know what is RDS, it is perfectly fine. We'll go here. Okay, to keep it simple, once you do all these things, you will not be able to create an RDS. Okay, so that's a simple thing here. If you go to EC2, you will be able to create whatever that they offer. So that's a simple thing that I'm trying to tell here. So that is what I thought of covering in AWS part today. And there's one more thing that I want to cover. So this is regarding Python and a concept called as JSON. Okay, so there is a very important thing to understand if you want to access AWS using Python. Okay, so usually in my channel, what I usually say is, so before that, if you see here, there are some restrictions here, right? So these things did not show up in our previous user. If you see here, if I go to EC2, there's nothing like that. They're showing that what are all the billings that we incurred, right? So this one show that we don't have access to see all those things. So this is what I mentioned, like restricting access to users. Okay, so let's talk about Python. So usually in my channel, what I recommend people is don't try to remember the entire Python coding. Okay, so what I would suggest is, to start coding, you just need to understand three simple concepts. You need to understand what is variables, what is functions, then let's open Python and then let me show you. Just give me a moment. So this is a VS Code. I hope everyone knows how to download Python. If not, I'll just quickly show that also. I have too much of slides open. Okay, so just Google download Python for Windows. If you use Windows, you can type Windows. If you're not using Mac or Linux or something like that, you can search appropriately. Go here and download the latest stable version. So this should be the latest stable version. Click on it and follow whatever things that they recommend, and you should be good to go. So once you did that, you can come to your just a minute. Yeah, you can open your command prompt, search Python hyphen version. So once you do this, if something like this is showing up, it means that Python is installed in your system. Okay, so I'm going to teach you programming in within 5 minutes. It is not like entire Python language. If you learn this, you can start coding. It is not like you can learn the entire Python. So this is what I would suggest. Learn what is a variable, learn what are functions, learn if statements, learn for loop. So once you learn all these 4 things, do projects that uses these particular concepts alone. Okay, once you do that, you will have to search for some other problem statements. All right, so once you get the problem statements, you will have to learn the concepts required for particular problem statements, and only then you have to learn the particular concept. If you did not understand what is the problem, then you will not be understanding what is the solution that is providing. I hope it answers, right? For example, if you think about functions, so if you directly learn what is a function, you'll not be understanding the requirement or the solution that it provides. So the main problem it solves is it allows us to avoid rewriting the code that we already have. So these kind of things will cover later. So this particular session is not about AWS. So if you are interested in learning this particular session is not about Python. Okay, so if you are interested in learning Python, I already have 4.5 hours videos about Python, but it will be in Tamil language. So if you feel that I need to put one more video on Python, I'll go ahead and put a video about it in later sessions. So for now, just learn what are if statements, what are for loops, how to declare a variable, and these 4 concepts alone you learn it. And later I'll be teaching about what is a JSON about that to you, and then using those concepts you can implement it in the further sessions. So there is a service called as AWS Lambda. There you will be using this Python language to interact with the other AWS services. So that is the main reason why I'm recommending you to learn Python. So in case you don't know what is, you are completely new to programming language, I'm just going to assume that you don't know. So I'm going to create a new Python file here. Just let's say main.py. Okay, so whatever Python file that you create, it should be named with .py. So the application understands that it is a Python file. So that is the first step. So what is a variable? So variables allows you to store whatever types that you want to store. For example, a is equals to 6. So you are saying that the a is a number. So just what I will say is, when they say data types, don't try to remember each and everything. If it is an interview based, then I understand. If you're going to start, what I would recommend is, there are only 3 types of variable: number, statement. I'll come on what about that, what I mean about it, and then a boolean. Boolean means is true or false. A number is a number. It's literally a number. And then a statement. What I mean by statement is a list of string. Okay, a list of characters is a string. So why I told statement is I want you to understand. So whenever I say string, it is a list of words. So that it is literally that. If it's a many words, if it is a present, then we can call it as a string. I don't know if whether if I'm saying it right or wrong. So since it is a live session, I have to try to explain you. So if it is a recorder, I can do it multiple times. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. If it is a set of words, then you can say it as a string. If it is having a number, you can say it can many ways. It can be a float, can be a int. If you are a beginner, just remember it as number. Okay. As you go, as you learn, you can try to change the data types. So since you are learning Python, you don't have to tell what kind of a data type it is. So that is the beauty about Python. That it's a very simpler language to learn. So that is why I am taking Python as a language that we are going to interact with in AWS. Okay. So this is a variable, and if statement is something like if a equal to 6, then print yes, else print no. So I think you understood what is happening here. What I would recommend is don't remember this syntax. Okay, never do that. You just have to remember the concept. If you understood what is happening here, then you are good to go. If you forgot the syntax, just Google it, how to use a if-else statement. If you understood it, just just look at the syntax, replace the words whatever that you are want to replace. For example, you have another task like b is equals to Ranjit. Okay, so if you just have to look at the syntax, then put b equal to Ranjit, and if it is yes, if it is a true, it is going to be printing yes. If it is false, it is going to be printing no. So this is how I recommend you to work on. So as you do this 4 or 5 times, then you will know how the syntax works. You don't have to look at any syntax online, right? So this is a simple thing that I want you to remember. Don't try to remember the syntax. As you work, eventually it will be you will be learning it subconsciously. So don't spend time in learning how the syntax works. Okay. So similar to this, we will have something like called as for loop. So this is how the for loop looks like in Python. Okay. So we are having a range so the range is a function. So I don't want to complicate too much about what the range function is, how the range function is made up. Okay, so just remember this range function will give list of items from 1 to 30. So we are given the range from 1 to 30, so it is going to give us the numbers from 1 to 30. So I think the last number will not be included. I think it will be from 1 to 29. So it will be printing it will be iterating from 1 to 30. If you print this, it will be showing in a sequential way. So I think this is understandable. So if you understand this particular concept, you are good to go to start doing tasks that uses this particular concepts alone. Okay, I'll give you a few tasks that uses only this particular concepts, or you can also Google it. So there is nothing much to learn on this. You can say, well, if only this is a programming language, then everyone can learn programming, right? So that is not the only thing. As you progress, you have to do various kind of projects, and once you do projects, you will eventually get some confidence, and only then you can feel that you know Python. Okay, if you keep watching the entire tutorials, I'm promising you will never get any confidence. You will learn a new technology, you will keep watching the entire tutorial, and at the end of the day you will not learn anything. You will just feel like you forgot everything. So unless and until you don't do projects, you are never going to be feeling confident. And one more thing is, as I said earlier, it is not important that you have to remember every time. As you do projects, if you remember the design, that is well and good. So see, I am a programmer and I have done so much of projects in my 5 years of career. So if you ask me if I remember each and every code that I have done, that is absolutely no way. No one can do that, because the process that we do are not higher scale. There are so much of design things that happens, and so much of coding that will be involved. It will be having like 10,000 or 20,000 lines of code. So there is no way that a human can remember all those things. So that is absolutely normal that if you forget the code. What you must not forget is the design. Suppose if it involves like various services it is involving, and it is going, the your data is moving from one service to another, and all those things will be, you can put it as a diagram, and if you remember that flow diagram, there is no need for you to remember the very low level of coding, like line number 46 what happened, line number 48 what happened, all those things you don't need to know. So that is literally how a college student thinks of programming. So that is the main thing that I want you guys to understand. There is nothing like you need to remember the entire code. I'll be repeating 100 times also. So that is what I thought earlier, and the working that we do on a real time is not similar to that. You just have to remember the design, and if you remember the design, it is your you should be well and good. So companies don't expect you to remember the entire code. If it is an interview, they will be giving you a simple Python code, like finding a prime number or not. In those cases, there is no design involved with it. There is a simple task. In those cases, they'll ask you to write a code. When you are doing big projects, there is absolutely no way they are asking you to write a code. Okay, they will be asking you to tell the design from how the data are being flowed. Okay, so just keep that in your mind, and this is what I thought of teaching you in Python. So if you remember this topics, this concepts, there is nothing much in this concept, right? It is very simple. You should be, if you are a final year student, you would have seen something similar to this 1,000 times. So start working projects that are having only these particular concepts. Then look for some problem statements. Try to understand what are all the concepts that you need to learn for achieving particular task, and learn only that particular topics, and then try to implement the task. So that is a systematic way to remember the uh, code. Okay, so once you did this, I want you to understand one simple concept called as JSON. So that is a very important topic. Let's see. I don't know whether you remember this concept called as dictionaries. If you had some understanding in any language, there will be a concept called as dictionary. Okay, in dictionary, what will be the main elements is, there will be a key, there will be a value. Example, if you are trying to store a student's name, a student detail, you will be having something like this: name equal to Ranjit, it should be in a string, age equals to 26, and whatnot. I'll just keep it simple. So these are all the details of Ranjit. Okay, so this is a format that we'll be following in JSON. So it is a dictionary. How different is a JSON from dictionary? So in JSON, what you can do is, you can add details, like details, and you can put one more dictionary inside it. Okay, you can put something here, and you can put one more dictionary inside it. It can be having multiple layers. Okay, so the main idea behind it is, we need to transfer data from one part of the code to another. Okay, so there is a concept on something called as an API. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed about it. So what I recommend you to do is, just understand this concept, how a data is how a JSON concept works. Okay, so example, in my Python code, if I want to read Ranjit, I'll just ask a name, and it will be showing me Ranjit. Okay, so what I mean by that, I'll just put something, a variable called as temp. I'll place it here, and how I'll access it is temp. Okay, let's keep it simple. Temp of name will give me Ranjit. Okay, I print it. If I run this, I'll be getting Ranjit. If I put age, I'll be getting 26. So this is how JSON concept works. I understand that you don't know the use case of it. Okay, the first question that you will be getting is, why should I use something like a JSON? I understand that. So first thing is, you just remember the syntax, how to form a JSON. Just what I will tell you is, if you have a table like name, age, and details, just try to learn how to convert the table into a JSON format. Okay, so example, if I'm going to store multiple person's detail, I'll just put this as a list. So a list is something like, it'll look like a, you have to use this bracket. I'll just come to the bottom and I'll copy this entire thing, paste it, and I'll close the bracket. So the first one is Ranjit, second one is, I'll just put Madras Programmer. So this part is first one, person one detail. This part is person two, second detail. Okay, so if you go here, if you paste it, you can think that why can't I just take the details of Ranjit directly? So if I run this, it will not give me, it will give me a error because it is in a list. So we have to show in which index we are trying to read. So I can put 0 of Ranjit, it will give me the first one. If I put 2, it will give me the second one. Let's put that as 27, B27. If I iterate this, it will be, you can print both. Okay, what I mean by iterate is the for loop which I was talking earlier. Yeah, so if it is printing 27, 26 and 27. So I hope these concepts are clear for you. I don't want to overwhelm by adding more and more concepts. So in the upcoming session, I'll be covering how to create EC2 instance. I'll be attaching you a video on how to create an EC2 instance. If not, what I'll do is I'll just show you how this video will be recorded. Whenever you feel you have a time, come and take a look at it, and you should be able to create an EC2 instance. Just don't think about how to create an EC2 instance, like what is the use of EC2 instance. We'll come to that in a later session. In this part, I'll just show you how to create one and how to delete one. Okay, so this is the only service that we'll be working on. I previously told that IAM was the only service that we'll be working on, but that is the only concept that you're going to understand. But this is the only concept that you're going to work on. So understanding how to work inside EC2 machine, we'll be understanding it later. So this is a very simple thing. I'm just going to create it as a name temp. So this is a task that you'll be working on this week. So that's why I want to cover it in this particular video. If you feel this is as overwhelming now, just see blindly. This session will be recorded. Come back, look at it, and then try to do your task. Okay. So there is something called as a key name pair. So I'll come for the first. So we'll be giving a name. You have to select Ubuntu. So Ubuntu is a Linux operating system. If you see here, there is something called as free trial eligible. So whenever you see free trial eligible, you can close your eyes and you can select it. So it means that you are not going to be charged for it. All right. Then you are going to come here. T3 micro is selected. You don't mind what types of instance types are all there. If you are willing to pay much money, you'll be giving a high CPU size. So the reason for us to select this one is, there is no people that are going to use our EC2 machine. There is no, we are not going live. People are not going to be using this particular machine. So it is safe for us to use a very simpler machine. So any one of you asked me, right? It is similar to a university exam results. So why our university exam results are coming very low is, they will be using a very small system. As many people are starting to use it, the system we cannot take any more load, and it will start to hang. So that is one of the reason. If they have selected a very big machine here, it will surely handle very big traffic. Okay. And this part, I don't want you to complicate it much. So just create a just select this one. If it is forcing you to create a new key value pair, just create one, save it in your system. If it is going to be used in further session, we'll use, or if not, let's just leave it. Okay, and we'll scroll down, and that's it. Just give launch instance. We'll wait for it. Click on it. It is showing running, right? Then click on the instance ID. I want you to just connect inside it and nothing else. Okay, this is a very button clicks kind of thing. There is nothing much complicated here. Just click on connect. Okay, this particular thing is access is denied because I have logged in inside Madras Programmer account. Okay, you can use your uh, root account or admin account. Okay, so once that is done, you'll be you'll be able to see what is happening. You'll be able to see that you are logged in inside that particular EC2 machine. So once you are done, what I would say you is, come here, click on stop instances, and then click on terminate instance. Okay, so by doing this, you can make sure that you are not getting charged. All right. It will be stopped in a few minutes. I think it is shutting down. Yeah, I think it should be fine now. So now I'll take up the questions that you have. If you have any questions, I'll give you 5 minutes. I'll try to answer. If not, we'll wind up for today's session. I'll add a Google sheet link where you'll be getting all the task lists. Okay, what are all the tasks that you have to do in this particular week. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I'll be looking into the chat now. Okay, let me see the chat. If you have any questions, you can let me know. Previously, Giri Haran V asked me that why I have to learn cloud, sir. Giri, as I said earlier, so entire almost every big companies are using any one of the clouds. Okay, so the reason for using clouds is we don't have to have a data center in our particular office. So if it will be hosted in a big place, something like a Google data center or Amazon data center or something like that, our CPU will be in their place. We'll be using internet and we'll be accessing their accessing our computer from using the internet. It will be in their data center, like Amazon data center or Google data center, whichever cloud providers that you are using. All right, so this allows us to concentrate only on our business logics and not about scaling up or scaling down of our mission. I hope that answers your question. Is there any other question? I'll wait for 1 more minute, and if there is no question, I'll wind up this particular live session. You may find this session a little bit overwhelming. Just don't think too much about what happened. Um whatever that I did, I'll just giving you a I'll be giving you a list of tasks that you have to do. Just focus only on that. Don't think like so much of things are there. It is not for me. Something like that. It is a very simple thing to learn, and once you learn it, you'll be. I'll make sure that you are feeling confident about it. All right. Okay. I think there is no questions. I'll just give one more minute, and if there is no questions, and we'll finish this call. I mean the live. All right. I think you don't have any other questions. Uh, okay. Let me wind up this particular session. I'll catch you all on the next week, and we'll discuss more about EC2 and many other services. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me in Instagram, Telegram, or something, whichever that is comfortable for you. So, with that note, I'll end this session. Thank you all.